All right, happy Friday. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome to Survive to Thrive. Wednesdays are scripted role play days. Guys, I want to start off with the question game today. We're going to move to overcoming objections, but here's how the question game works for those of you who are new to the call. The only thing you can do is ask questions. You are asking seller questions or buyer questions. You are speaking to a seller or you are speaking to a buyer. Remembering that people will never change their mind, but they will make a new decision based on new information. So just a couple of examples. If the market rejects your asking price, what's plan B? If you had a crystal ball and you knew your home was going to sell for $375, would you rather sell it for $375 in the next 30 days or 6 months from now? If the market rejects your offer and your home is still on the market 6 months later and it's worth less than it is today, how would you feel about that? How far does the price have to drop before you can no longer afford to sell your home? If that were to happen and you're still in your home a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 4 years from now, rather than being in blank in order to be closer to your family, how would you feel about that? If I asked your family, how would they feel about that? All right, put your digital hand up. If you don't put your hand up, I'm just going to start calling on y'all. So be brave, jump in there, and let's play. Sean, let's go.
Okay, here we go. When your house sells, where do you plan on moving? What's in Florida? Dang it, man. If your house is still on the market 6 months from now, how would that make you feel? If your house doesn't sell quickly, what's plan B? I think that's it for me. I'm sorry.
No apologies. You jumped in there and you went. That makes you a winner in my book.
And I'm driving.
And I'm super proud of you. This is not an easy game to play. Only the brave play this game. So, and I know some of you are thinking, I want to raise my hand. I want to raise my hand. I'm looking at Karen Rollins and I can almost read her mind. And she's like, I want to do this, but take the leap, guys. All right, Geraldine, you're up. Carolina, you are on deck. Way to go, ladies. All right, Geraldine, you're on mute, and I don't have your camera, so I don't know if you're... Okay, there we go.
Sorry, I'm driving too, so...
Yeah, all good.
Yes, thank you. So, good morning, everyone. So I'll start. So, what is your timeline? Have you received a lot of clients to see your home? What was your strategy to show your home? Why did you decide to sell your home on your own?
Good question. Good question.
Right. Do you have a team of professionals like lawyers, title insurance that can help you throughout this process? What is in Florida? What if your home doesn't sell in 6 months? What is your plan B?
Good question.
I think I froze there.
That's okay, Geraldine. That's okay. So thank you for raising your hand. I'm so proud of you. And I'm going to take one question that you asked. I'm just going to coach you a little bit on it. So do you have a team of lawyers, title companies, and so on, a title agent, so on, helping you? So it's a yes/no question.
Okay.
Okay, let's change the question to who's helping you?
Who's helping you? Okay.
Right?
Got it.
They're probably going to respond with, what do you mean? Which gives you an opportunity to ask more questions to educate in order to help them make a new decision based on new information, because they probably haven't even thought about this until you brought it up, And now you're creating a harm's way situation, meaning people are more motivated by avoiding pain than they are by going towards pleasure. You're identifying the pain, and guess what? You have the solution, which means I'm working with you.
Correct.
All right, Carolina, let's go. Matthew Kemps, you're on deck. I'm looking for another hand. Let's
Good
go.
morning, guys. Just to be clear, this is a FISBO that I'm trying to get to convert to my for myself, correct?
Love it. It could be anything,
Okay.
but thank you for identifying
Perfect.
that.
I had this situation recently.
Okay.
Hi, Ash. Thank you for contacting me. I see that you've been on the market for 70 days. How is that going for you?
Good question.
Okay. What made you not hire a professional? Does it have anything to do with commissions? If that's the case, I'm going to run the numbers with you and we're going to talk about how you should be hiring me as your agent. Fantastic. So what is the purpose of you moving? What brings you to Texas? Great. In your 70-day process of doing this as a for sale by owner, did you enjoy the process? What kind of marketing strategies did you have? Did you pay for any social boost on Facebook or any of the big social, media outlets? Let me explain to you why you should not be listing this as a for sale by owner. The public is seeing you as a wholesale. They're not taking you serious because clearly you are the owner. You don't have professional representation, and you're emotionally attached to this home. Whether you want to admit this or not, you really are, and you're not going to make the best judgment when any type of offer comes your way. Let me explain to you why I am a negotiator and what is going to help you get that offer. But we really need to break down the numbers, and I need to understand what is your bottom line. That's all I got.
It's enough.
Hey, hire me.
Raise your hand if you got value from Carolina, right? I mean, how many of you are going to listen to this recording, play it back, and write down what you just heard? This is why we're doing this, okay? Carolina, one coaching suggestion.
Okay.
When you listen to the recording, take every yes, no question you asked and rephrase it as an open-ended question.
Okay. Okay.
The only time you should be using a yes, no question is when you're playing chess. In other words, it's a strategic conversation and you're setting up the next question.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Oh, it was amazing. You did an amazing job. Okay, Matthew Kemps, you're up. Bob, you are on deck.
All right, let's go a little dead agent and then with the agent, and then let's do seller afterwards.
Let's go.
It may not be for you, but if there was a program out there that I could still pay you 25% and get this home sold, would that be of interest to you? Have you ever heard of anything like this program? If you were to guess why the home did not sell, what would your expectation be of that? Now going to the seller, if your home doesn't sell the next 6 months, what's your plan B? Why do you think your home did not sell? What's taking you to Florida? If you can't get to Florida in the next 6 months, how would that make you feel? Yeah, there you go.
Love it. On a scale of 1 to 10, how motivated are you to move to Florida? Why is that important to you? What if you're not in Florida 6 months from now? How does that feel? What would happen? How would your family feel about that? What if the value of your home goes down between now and 6 months from now and you can no longer afford to move to Florida? What if you're still in your home a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, because you didn't sell your home in the first 6 months it was on the market? When your home's on the market for 30 days and you have an offer versus when your home was on the market for 180 days and you have an offer, in which one of those scenarios do you have the negotiating advantage? Why? All right, Bob, talk to me.
What is it that you're trying to accomplish? What level of experience do you have in working with a real estate professional like me? I'm coming. If the market rejects your asking price, what's your plan B? If you had a crystal ball and you knew your home would sell for $450, and you got an offer for $450, would you take that offer today?
At what point are you not selling your home? What does an offer look like that you would reject versus in accepting that offer? Where does your heart stop? Just adding questions to your line of questions, Bob.
Got it. It's just, yep.
And you did an amazing job.
Well, thank you, John.
Of course. Thank you. By the way, I'm so proud of you because, Bob, I hope it's okay if I talk about you because I'm going to do it anyways. And Bob is being very intentional by putting his hand up and participating. This is not something that he loves to do. He's doing this because because he knows this is how he gets better. So Bob, so proud of you.
Thank you, John.
Anna, talk to me.
I have two questions. How much do you think your home is worth, and how much do you want in net? Those are the only two questions I can think of.
Okay, that's really good. That's really good. So follow-up questions for you, Anna. Where did you get, how are you coming up with that price? Are you basing your home? This is an A or B question, which I also don't really like. Just letting you know, I like open-ended questions. All right. When pricing your home, did you base it on homes that sold or homes that are currently for sale? When you have more than 120 days of inventory, where should you price your home? Based on the homes that sold or the homes that are currently for sale? What do you guys think the answer to that is? That was a question for all of you that are
Sold.
there and looking at me.
Sorry.
Homes that are
Active
currently
competition.
active.
Yeah,
So-
I priced it under the competition, absolutely.
Okay, yeah, that's right. So when there's a more than 120 days on the market, you're pricing based on the homes that are currently for sale because you got to beat the competition. When you're in a market where there's less than 60 days of inventory, the last home that sold creates a new floor, meaning the next home is going to sell for more money. When you're in a market where there's 120 days of inventory or more, the last home that sold creates a new ceiling, which means the next home is going to sell for less money. All right, Brian, you're up. Andre, you're on deck. You're on mute, Brian.
I have a buyer right now who's ready to buy, renting, and sent me a screenshot of CNBC that the housing market is going down and now is waiting for prices to bottom out. So I'd like to role play that conversation with my client on what about buying now versus waiting?
Yeah, please do. Let's go.
What would buying now do for you? What would waiting 6 months do for you? How do you know price is going to be lower in 6 months? What if they're higher? What are you going to do differently by waiting 6 months from now? How does your offer look different? Are you going to have more money or less money? Do you know how the stock market is going to do? What is happening with tariffs right now in the economy in 6 months from now? Are you able to predict that? What does it look like 5 years from now if you buy a home at a lower price today than by waiting 6 months from now? Are you looking for a long-term home? I don't know.
Brian, that was awesome. It was really, really good. Think about affordability, guys. When a buyer is buying a home, are they more concerned about the value of the house or the monthly payment? What's going to affect the monthly payment? Could the value of the home go down and the monthly payment actually go up? The answer to that question is yes, by the way. Okay, Andre. By the way, would somebody share the link to my YouTube page in the chat? Because there's a couple people asking where to find the recordings. Andre.
I would have asked that question too. So anyway, I'm going to talk about after I get a referral from a dead agent, and I would start in with why did you think what do you think the agent didn't do for you and why it didn't sell, and then and is there anything you would have liked to see him do or me do, and what is your time frame for moving? You've already been in here for some time. Where are you going, of course, and are there any improvements that you feel that should be done to that house. I have a lot of people that can help with that, and myself for one. And then I don't know, the conversation would just have to go from there, but that's all.
Good job, buddy. Good job. So let me give you a couple of improvement questions. When you made $50,000 in improvements to your home last year, did you know that you were going to be selling a year later? If you could still have the improvements or have the $50,000 back, which would you choose? What if a buyer felt the same way?
I guess that would come after they told me they did improvements.
Okay, I understand that you need blank. However, if you were buying a stock and the value of that stock is $100 a share, and the seller is selling it for $120 a share because they need the money, are you paying $120 a share for that stock? If you went to the grocery store and the prices all went up by 50% overnight, and you went up to the manager and you're like, what the heck? Why are the prices up 50%? And the manager said, well, we just did all these renovations and we need to recover the money we spent on the renovations. Are you paying 50% more to help the store recover the money they spent on those renovations? Of course not. Connor, I'm so proud of you for raising your hand. Bring it.
All right, I got 3. So, would you buy your own home today at the current price you're listing it for?
New guy on the block.
Are you more focused on the price you want or the results you need? What's more important, selling soon or holding out for a specific number?
Connor, how old are you?
23.
23, licensed broker in North Carolina. Newly licensed broker in North Carolina. Dude, I hope I'm around long enough to see what you've done in the next 20 years. I just hope I'm around to see that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Matthew Kemp's last up. Let's go.
Back to Brian's questions about a buyer.
Yeah.
I had a similar one, the one I went under contract. It's finally last night. 2.9 million compared to getting up to 3 million, and he wanted to rent instead because he just not willing to come up to that number. So then I was like, okay, if you're willing to rent in there for 6 months was the minimum time frame, 15,000 a month is the minimum that you're gonna be able to find a rental for. 6 months at 15,000, almost $100,000 gap.
Oh man, I wish your signal wouldn't have broke up. I love. Yeah, we're gonna have to do that one again, Matthew, because I love the way you think. Well done. Okay, Michael Trelongo, you're up.
I need to play this game. I don't play this game, so let's give it a shot. John, if you were confident that you could actually net yourself more money and have your home sold faster with less stress and hassle for you, you would have hired me already, right?
That's a good question, everybody. So he's playing chess, right? My answer is yes. Now what?
Yeah. So, John, did you want to list this home where it would sit, or list it where it's gonna sell?
Good question. Keep going, Michael.
Yeah, John. So if you hired a discount agent, is there a chance that you might get a discounted result?
Good question.
And so, John, you have a first-class home. Why would you ever consider selling it in a second-class way?
That's a great.
My gosh, just drop the mic, right? Just drop the mic.
I'll stop that.
Yeah. Okay. Man, I love those kind of questions, right? Yeah. It'd be like pulling up to a $5 million home and there being a beat up car that's 50 years old and really running in the garage.
Hey, I was trying to wait, one more. So, John,
hold on 1 second, guys. Hold on 1 second. You were competing with noise. Brian, hit mute.
One of these keys probably works.
Can somebody mute Brian?
Then what's the code? So I can make.
Okay, I did it for you guys.
So one more. You've described to me that you want to sell this home and you want the best results possible. And so what you just told me is you want a master. So should you be hiring a painter, or did you want to hire an artist?
All right. Not bad. Good stuff. Good stuff. By the way, everybody, Michael is a real estate coach, friend of mine. Somebody you might want to think about hiring if you're looking for a coach. All right, Sean, you're last up. Bring us out.
Okay, this was just a little bit about information I got yesterday about Austin's market. ABOR has an internal economist. Her name's Claire Knapp. She reluctantly has said, is on record as saying that Austin is a buyer's market now. Officially, something we kind of already knew, but the numbers.
How long did it take her to make that announcement?
Well, you know what I think, when you deal with economists, like when somebody says the United States market is going down, trending down, real estate is local. So all the local agents that knew it was a buyer's market, she was looking at the entire metro, and so finally she's like, it's a buyer's market.
Comical.
But,
okay. So, comical. So part of this, everybody, is these economists that are making these announcements like a year too late. They're using 6 months as a definition of a buyer's market. That's because that's what NAR says. Understand that anytime the market goes more than 90 days, you are moving into a buyer's market. It's all about supply and demand. 90 days of inventory simply means there's 9 homes for sale, 3 are selling every 30 days. You've got 9 sellers competing for 3 buyers. That's a buyer's market. In my opinion, you are moving to or already in a buyer's market. By the way, what do you think is coming next? It's going to go from 90 days of inventory to 150 days of inventory like that.
Yep.
Very quick. Now, 150 days of inventory, if I could do my math really good here, that's 5 months. You've got 25 homes for sale, 5 are selling every 30 days. You've got 25 sellers competing for 5 buyers. What happens when that happens? The only way the seller wins the competition is to do what?
Drop the price.
That's it. Drop the price. That's it.
Buyer's market is an oxymoron. And so the thing that you run into in here is you get weak hands. So if you're working with, like say a neighborhood or a subdivision where everybody's got a listing at $1 million, at some point you run into a weak hand scenario where they just can't hold it at that price anymore. They're going to drop the price, and that creates a new floor. So if you're working with a seller in a market like that, you have that conversation with them and let them actually set the price rather than be relegated to the price that somebody else sets.
It is a strategic pricing conversation. It is not a pricing conversation.
Yes.
Understand the difference.
The reason why I brought
to beat the competition. Go, Sean.
Sorry. The reason why I brought Claire Knapp up is when you're having these conversations with your sellers or your buyers, don't believe me, believe the economist who does this for a living. We're in a buyer's market. I'm not just trying to get a sale.
I think that's really good advice, Sean, and I know that's why you were doing it, but this is going to sound super cocky, but my response is don't believe them, believe me. I'm the local economist of choice. All right, Matthew, talk to us.
I agree.
Thank you. Pat Kemps. All right.
Hold on, I had something good.
I think you froze.
And it was.
Yeah, go.
Can you hear me at all? Am I good?
So. Keep going.
Okay. If it breaks up too much, tell me. Long story short, I humbly say this. I'm in there basically selling one neighborhood specifically in Georgetown called Cimarron Hills. Picked up another listing appointment there from a referral base, and they think it's because I had the secret sauce on how to sell homes there. And all it is on the listing appointments that they're selling is that I'm saying we get to be the low 25% in price, the top 25% in presentation, and that's the only thing that's working inside of this neighborhood.
That's it.
And they think it's like a special thing, even though it's something that we do in this group every single day.
Have been for a very long time. You're right about that. All right, that is a wrap. Make it a great day, everybody.